Hello, people of the internet. It is Sunday, so time for me to do another review for you. Today's review will be taking place at 30 degrees this way, for no reason, and I'm going to be reviewing the 1997 film Gattaca. Just before we get into things, I'm just going to say this review isn't going to be that long or in that much depth because I feel pretty crap as the result of an hour-long walk in the rain about 1 in the morning last night. So I'm not feeling too great, so I'm not going to be speaking for ages. I'm just going to kind of give you a basic overview of this film, and it's not got really loads to it anyway, so I don't think there's much I could say about it as it is. So, Gattaca is a 1997 film, like I said, and it's by director and writer Andrew Niccols. He's credited for doing things such as The Truman Show, he wrote that, and he directed the film Lord of War, which stars Nicolas Cage. You may have seen that as well. Both good films. The plot for Gattaca takes place in a futuristic world which isn't actually that far detached from our own. It's a very possible scenario. The whole film is actually like fully realistic. The idea is that in the future people are genetically engineering their children. So they'll go into these genetic people and say, hey, I want my kid to have blonde hair and blue eyes, and they can decide like to remove all things that might cause obesity or like heart failure and stuff like that, so they can genetically engineer for a price the perfect human. The film follows Ethan Hawke's character, who is called Vincent, and he is what in the film is referenced as an invalid because he was naturally born. His parents did that thing that people do and he was the result. There was no genetic engineering involved, so he's invalid, which means that he's destined not to get anywhere in the world because people are stingy about genetics. Basically, he realises that his dreams of being a space astronaut person are not going to happen because he's at a certain risk of heart failure and things like that, whereas there's hundreds of other people who are just more likely to get the job because they are basically perfect, because they are valid and genetically engineered to be that way. Ethan Hawke resorts to a guy called Jerome, who is kind of one of those people who is called valid and is perfect, and for a price, this guy called Jerome, who's played by Jude, kind of gives Ethan Hawke's character like skin and hair samples and stuff, and basically Ethan Hawke lives the life under this Jerome character so he can get into kind of this place where they plan astronaut space visit things. So Ethan Hawke's character is basically spending money to pretend to be someone else so he can fulfill his dream, and that's it. Uma Thurman's in it, she's his love interest. It's overall a good film. It's quite well paced, although it's not necessarily something incredibly interesting. You wouldn't be able to really watch it with a group of people and be really into the story. It's not got really any action scenes or anything. In England the film is rated as a 15. I don't know what the equivalent of that is in America and places like that. I'm not really sure why they've rated it 15 because it doesn't really have anything in it that I don't know why it's rated 15. I think the acting is really good overall in it. Ethan Hawke plays a good character, Jude Law is really good. Uma Thurman I don't really like as an actor personally, she just kind of bugs me, so but she's alright, but I don't really like her for some reason. So the acting is good, the directing is good, it tells a good story, it's well paced. Andrew Niccols, who like I said is the writer and director, he's just generally got the story pretty spot on. Oh my god, we're suddenly the right way up. This film is usually like put into science fiction genre. It is technically science fiction, but then again it's all about genetic engineering in a very realistic sense. Genetic engineering in the way that they're portraying it in the film is happening in the real world. The film just portrays it to a more extreme level, which basically is that's what it's going to be like in the future. So the film is quite realistic, and I think that's why I find it interesting personally. So overall I would suggest it to you if you're into science fiction-y kind of films. It's not extreme science fiction like I said, but it is science fiction nonetheless. Probably I reckon 6 to 7 out of 10 for this film. And that's that whole thing.